God says, listen closely, my beloved soul, because this moment did not arrive by accident. Before anything else in your life continues, before another day passes, before another choice is made, heaven has paused time just enough for this message to reach you. You may feel a quiet heaviness in your chest or a strange calm moving through you right now, and that is not imagination. That is your spirit recognizing truth. This is not just a message. This is an arrival. There is someone connected to your destiny whose presence has shaped you more than you realize. Someone whose role in your life was never random, never temporary, never meaningless. God says this person did not walk into your story by chance, and they will not walk out without leaving something important behind. What is about to be revealed is not meant to create fear, but understanding. Not meant to hurt, but to awaken. Not meant to disturb your peace, but to protect your heart. Heaven sees what you do not say out loud. Heaven remembers the questions you asked in silence. God knows the moments you replayed in your mind, wondering why certain connections felt so deep, why certain goodbyes felt heavier than others, and why some people felt like home even when nothing made sense. God says there are connections that look ordinary on the outside but carry eternal weight within them. This is why your heart has been restless lately. This is why memories surface when you least expect them. This is why you feel pulled to pause, to reflect, to listen. God says you are standing at a crossroads of awareness. Something that was hidden is ready to be understood. Something that was unspoken is ready to be acknowledged. Something that was delayed is ready to come into the light. God is gentle, but clear. Before this person leaves forever, whether from your life, your season, or your emotional reach, you must understand why they were there in the first place. Some people are not meant to stay, but they are meant to awaken something within you that never would have awakened otherwise. Some souls touch your life not to remain, but to prepare you. You may have questioned your own feelings. You may have doubted your intuition. You may have wondered if you imagined the depth, the connection, the meaning. God says you did not imagine it. You sensed it because it was real. But not everything real is meant to last in the same form. Some things are meant to transform. Heaven is not silent about this. God says what is happening now is protection, not loss. Alignment, not abandonment. Preparation, not punishment. What feels like an ending is actually a sealing, sealing wisdom into your heart, clarity into your spirit, and strength into your future. This message came now because timing matters. If it came earlier, you would not have understood it. If it came later, you might have missed what it was meant to save you from. God says your soul is finally ready to see clearly without attachment blinding you, without fear confusing you, without emotion overpowering truth. There is peace waiting on the other side of this understanding. There is freedom waiting where confusion once lived. There is maturity waiting where emotional weight once sat. And most importantly, there is growth waiting that will change the way you love, the way you trust, and the way you choose moving forward. God says do not rush this moment. Let it settle. Let it speak. Let it teach you. You are not being left behind. You are being lifted forward. What leaves now is not taking anything from you, it is making room for what aligns fully with who you are becoming. Nothing that is truly meant for you will miss you. Nothing that is divinely assigned will pass you by. And nothing heaven removes was meant to define your future. You are safe. You are guided. You are seen. And now, before this message closes, God asks you to do something simple but powerful. God says, "My beloved child, now that you have listened this far, it is because your spirit already knows this message is true." Not everyone has the patience to remain when heaven speaks slowly, gently, and deeply. But you stayed. That alone tells me something about your heart. You are not someone who rushes past meaning. You are someone who feels before you decide, who senses before you move, and who listens even when the world is loud. This is why this message continues to unfold for you. God says there are moments in life when silence carries more truth than words. You have been living in one of those moments. You sensed something shifting, something thinning, something slowly loosening its grip. A connection that once felt strong began to feel distant, not because love disappeared, but because purpose had already been fulfilled. Heaven does not remove people randomly. Heaven releases people gently, after their assignment in your life is complete. This person came into your life carrying a mirror. Through them, you saw parts of yourself you had never noticed before. Your capacity to care deeply. Your ability to stay loyal even when confused. Your strength to hold on when others would walk away. God says they were never meant to stay forever, but they were meant to awaken you forever. That awakening is what remains. You may have asked me in quiet prayers, "God, why did this feel so real if it was not meant to last?" And God answers you now, because real does not always mean permanent. Some things are real because they shape you, not because they stay with you. Some souls come to activate growth, not to occupy space indefinitely. This does not make the connection false. It makes it purposeful. God says stop blaming yourself for the ending. Stop replaying conversations in your mind. Stop wondering what you could have done differently. What ended did not fail. It completed. And completion is not loss. Completion is fulfillment. Right now, heaven is asking you to release the weight, not the lesson. To let go of the attachment, not the wisdom. To bless the chapter without trying to reopen it. You are not dishonoring the past by moving forward. You are honoring what it gave you. There is something important you must understand. If this person were meant to stay, you would not feel this calm growing beneath the sadness. You would feel panic. You would feel fear. You would feel emptiness. Instead, what you feel now is quiet clarity beginning to rise. That clarity is heaven's confirmation. God says there are connections that end not because love was missing, but because alignment was. Love alone is not enough to carry destiny forward. Alignment is what allows love to breathe, grow, and sustain. When alignment is missing, heaven intervenes, not to hurt you, but to protect what is coming next. You are being protected from settling into something that would eventually limit you. You are being preserved for a connection that does not confuse your spirit, does not drain your energy, and does not require you to question your worth. God says the next season of your life will require emotional clarity, not emotional exhaustion. This is why timing matters so much right now. If you hold on longer, you delay what is trying to reach you. If you let go with trust, you make space for something that fits naturally, without force. Heaven never asks you to release something without already preparing something better aligned. God says do not confuse familiarity with destiny. Familiar feels safe, but destiny feels peaceful. Familiar pulls you backward into memory. Destiny pulls you forward into growth. And right now, you are being gently redirected toward peace. You may still care. You may still remember. That does not mean you are meant to return. It means you are human. God does not erase emotion, He redeems it. He transforms it into wisdom so it no longer controls you. As this message continues, something subtle but powerful is happening inside you. The emotional fog is thinning. The heaviness is lifting. The questions are quieting. This is not coincidence. This is release. God says you are not losing someone, you are gaining yourself back. Your clarity. Your emotional balance. Your inner authority. Your ability to choose what aligns instead of what merely feels familiar. Stay here. Let this truth settle. The next part will go even deeper, into what is coming, why this ending was necessary, and how heaven is already aligning the next chapter without delay. God says, "My beloved child, now listen even more closely, because this part of the message is about what is quietly happening beneath the surface of your life." What you see right now is only the ending of a chapter, but what you do not yet see is the alignment taking place behind the veil. Heaven is never idle. While your heart was processing loss, clarity, and release, heaven was already rearranging paths, people, and timing on your behalf. God says you have outgrown certain emotional patterns, and that is why what once felt magnetic now feels heavy. Growth does not always feel like excitement. Sometimes growth feels like discomfort, like restlessness, like a deep inner knowing that you cannot stay where you are anymore. That knowing is not rebellion. It is maturity. It is your soul signaling that it is ready for something more aligned. You were faithful in a season where you did not receive clarity. You stayed kind in moments where you could have become cold. You stayed hopeful when uncertainty surrounded you. God says this matters more than you realize. Heaven records how you handle endings, not just beginnings. The way you released with grace has positioned you for what comes next. This person leaving your life was not a punishment. It was a protection. There were versions of you that would have remained dormant if this connection had continued. There were strengths inside you that would never have been activated if you had stayed comfortable. God says I allowed the separation not to break you, but to reveal you. There is a reason why you feel stronger now than you did at the beginning of this connection. There is a reason why you understand yourself better. There is a reason why your boundaries are clearer and your intuition sharper. These are not accidents. These are fruits of transformation. God says stop asking whether they will return. That question keeps you anchored to uncertainty. Instead, ask who you are becoming. Ask what this season has taught you. Ask how much more peaceful your spirit feels when you stop forcing meaning where alignment is missing. When your focus shifts inward, answers come naturally. Heaven wants you to understand something very important. The ending you experienced was not rejection. It was redirection. Rejection pushes you away in pain. Redirection guides you forward with wisdom. You are being redirected toward a version of love that does not require you to shrink, explain yourself, or wait in emotional confusion. God says the next connection that enters your life will not arrive with chaos. It will arrive with clarity. It will not feel rushed. It will feel natural. It will not pull you into doubt. It will confirm what you already know about yourself. That is how you will recognize it. Right now, you are being taught how to trust your inner peace more than emotional intensity. Intensity feels exciting, but peace feels safe. Intensity demands attention. Peace allows growth. God says you are being prepared for a love that supports your purpose, not distracts from it. You may notice that your priorities are changing. What once felt urgent now feels unnecessary. What once felt important now feels optional. This is not loss of passion. This is refinement. Your spirit is learning discernment. Discernment is the ability to choose what nourishes you, not just what attracts you. God says do not rush to fill the space that has been created. Empty space is sacred. It is where clarity settles. It is where healing deepens. It is where new alignment forms. If you rush, you may miss the subtle guidance that is leading you forward. The person who is meant to walk with you next will not need you to explain your worth. They will recognize it. They will not ask you to compete for attention. They will offer presence. They will not confuse you with mixed signals. They will communicate with consistency. God says this connection will feel like relief, not effort. Understand this truth deeply: the fact that something ended does not mean it failed. It means it served its purpose. Not every meaningful connection is meant to last forever. Some are meant to teach you how to love better, choose wiser, and trust yourself more fully. As you continue listening, your spirit is settling into acceptance, not resignation. Acceptance is powerful. It does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop resisting reality. And when resistance ends, peace enters. God says you are stepping into a season where your emotional energy will be invested more wisely. You will no longer chase clarity. Clarity will meet you. You will no longer question where you stand. You will be shown. You will no longer wonder whether you are enough. You will know. Remain still with this message. Let it anchor inside you. The next part will bring closure, confirmation, and forward movement, showing you how heaven completes this chapter and prepares you for what comes next. God says, "My beloved child, this is the moment where understanding becomes peace and peace becomes direction. Everything you have felt until now was preparation for clarity. Not the kind of clarity that shocks you, but the kind that settles gently into your soul and finally allows you to breathe without confusion. This is where heaven closes what no longer serves you and opens what aligns with who you are becoming. There is no chaos in this ending. There is wisdom. What feels like distance is actually alignment correcting itself. Some connections leave not because love was missing, but because purpose was pulling you forward. God says when something must be forced to remain, it is already out of harmony. What belongs to you will never require constant anxiety to sustain it. You were not meant to stay suspended in emotional uncertainty. You were meant to grow into emotional authority. That is what this season has given you. You now recognize patterns sooner. You sense misalignment faster. You no longer confuse longing with compatibility. These are not losses. These are upgrades. God says the reason this chapter is closing now is because you are ready to receive something healthier, something calmer, something that mirrors your growth instead of testing your patience. Heaven does not remove without replacing. But replacement does not arrive until space is honored. That space you feel is intentional. It is sacred. You may notice that your prayers are changing. You are no longer asking for someone specific. You are asking for peace, for alignment, for emotional safety. That shift is powerful. It tells heaven that you trust wisdom over desire, and timing over impulse. God says when your prayers mature, your blessings do too. The person who is meant to walk with you next will not arrive to heal old wounds. They will arrive because you have already healed. They will not confuse you with silence or distance. They will communicate clearly. They will meet you where you are, not where you used to be. That is how you will know this connection is divinely aligned. Do not fear the finality of this ending. Final does not mean empty. Final means complete. It means the lesson has been learned, the growth has occurred, and the emotional debt has been settled. You are not losing something valuable. You are reclaiming your energy. God says your future relationships will be shaped by the boundaries you honored here. Because you chose self-respect over emotional attachment, heaven can now trust you with something deeper. Something mutual. Something steady. Something that does not require you to abandon yourself. There is peace ahead that does not depend on someone staying. There is joy ahead that does not fluctuate with someone's attention. There is love ahead that feels safe, consistent, and grounded. This is not imagination. This is alignment unfolding. As this message reaches its completion, heaven wants you to understand one final truth. You were never behind. You were never late. You were being prepared quietly, patiently, lovingly. And now, you are ready for what comes next. Release this chapter with gratitude, not regret. Gratitude keeps your heart open. Regret keeps it stuck. God says when you let go with grace, you make room for blessings that arrive without struggle. Stand still for a moment after this message ends. Let it settle. Let it ground you. You are not alone. You are guided. And what is meant for you is already moving toward you, calmly, clearly, and in perfect timing. That if this message brought clarity to your heart, like this video, so this energy stays with you. If it spoke directly to your situation, comment what you felt while listening. Your words matter. If someone you care about needs this message, share it with them. And if you want to receive more messages like this that guide, heal, and align you, subscribe now and stay connected.